Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're taking a look at a bunch of stuff this week. So yeah, this is Gaming News Consolidated. This is where I take a look at videos, I take a look at articles, I dig into some stuff, and I try to consolidate it all for you here in one place in one podcast every week. Of course, we don't touch on everything, but these usually go over an hour now. And yeah, we just got a lot of news that's actually coming up in the industry. So, what all are we talking about today? Oh, well, we got some news on PlayStation Stars rewards programs actually shutting down. We got some more news on Marathon. We got a little bit on Carrie Patel, which is the director of Avowed. She's actually moved on already. We also got Team Kill Media making Code Violet, which is like a Dino Crisis type of game. And man, I just wanted to bring them up. That one will be a little fun for me. Also, Hellblade 2 coming to PlayStation 5. Also, Shinobi having a physical release. We'll talk to you about Battlefield 6. We'll also talk about the first leaked unboxing of the Switch 2. And we're also going to talk about EA closing Cliffhanger games. PlayStation is also having a 2-week sale. And then Xbox is putting their personal handheld on hold. And then we'll also talk about games coming in June. And there's more in there too. So again, this is going to be long. Don't forget, you can always watch this at 1.25 times speed to actually get through this a little quicker. But yeah, throw on, do some chores, get through your shift, whatever. I'm just glad I can be with y'all. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so yeah, PlayStation Stars Rewards program is actually shutting down. So by completing in-game activities, you could earn points, you could earn collectibles, and even games sometimes. And current members can still earn points through July 23rd. Members have until November 2nd through 2026 to actually redeem those points. And then all redeemed items and games will actually continue to be available, though I wonder if that will still be available through 2026. I'm actually not entirely sure, so not exactly sure about that. But though Nintendo too has also said that they're canceling their coin program this year, so again, that's going to be washing out. And Xbox still has theirs, though they did change some things. It used to be like more quest focused, and now it's just more like a checklist, which is pretty frustrating. Currently, though, I mean, on Xbox, if you're willing to put in the time or whatever, I'm earning about $13 a month through Xbox Rewards program. I actually used $20 to help me cut the cost of NightReign in half, and so I bought it for $20, which was great. And but yeah, the rewards program is still there for Xbox, but yeah, the other rewards programs are just going away, and that kind of stinks. Because yeah, the not only are prices increasing and stuff, but we're moving away from rewards. And I'm honestly really not sure why. I mean, it's not like they're probably really losing a lot of money. Maybe it's a little expensive to keep up with that kind of a program because it's still got to be updated. They still got to keep some devs on that, making things or creating some things, or maybe even giving away some games for free. But again, why close your rewards program? Because you're just taking value away from some of your player base, and that really doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's talk about Colin Moriarty. He actually reposted a Marathon bulletin that Sony has actually canceled all paid marketing plans for Marathon and also removed the plan for pre-orders. This is kind of insane. So we're like 4 months away now from the September 23rd launch, and so I'm thinking, as like everybody else, either delayed or canceled. And to release with no marketing sounds ridiculous. I mean, even for just a AA game, a cheaper game or smaller studio, but for a quote AAA title that's Bungie, that has forged their existence, over 20 years, for them to be canceling this, something definitely sounds like something's up. So either way, things are definitely not going well. Because yeah, they're having to scrub stolen art. They have an all-time morale, all-time low of their morale at the studio. And Marathon Socials usually just about pretty much post every single day, and they also have a stream like every week. I don't think we actually got a stream this week either. And they're not posting on those socials really anymore. and besides this bulletin. So yeah, they've basically gone quiet, and the devs are frustrated. I mean, they've been talking a little bit too about the studio and how leadership is kind of in the way, or like things aren't good. People just kind of feel like they're a cog in the machine, and well, with having to scrub stuff on top of it now, if they only have 4 months, man, they got to kick into overdrive from now until then, which hopefully they don't have to, because they're going to burn out people on that project. And the project I still don't think is going to sell well. I mean, even before the whole stolen art plagiarism thing, I didn't believe that Marathon was going to go over well anyway. And that is just such a big blight now on the game. And then having to like pay into it to play on top of that. Sometimes that's not sitting well with people either. And then we also have Arc Raiders, which had a closed beta as well, roughly around the same time, which I got to play that one. And yeah, that was fun. That was amazing. That they did a good job with their design, sound design too, and yeah, that was actually pretty exciting. I could see that one actually popping off. But again, Marathon has so far to go. Currently on LinkedIn, there are actually 5 job listings specifically just for Marathon, and they're as follows: external development production assistant, senior producer, commerce event art lead, principal product manager, and game systems, and then gameplay engineering lead. So this does not really sound good to have, because maybe they only have certain positions filled at certain times, and maybe since they're close to production, some of these would kind of make sense, like commerce and event art leads maybe, or external development production, or a gameplay engineering lead. But again, some of these two seem like they would already be filled, and a lot of these two are like senior positions. So I don't know. To me, that just doesn't really sound very good. So yeah, Marathon is. Yeah, if we thought Concord was bad, like a bomb going off, I mean, Bungie and Marathon is going to be the nuclear bomb. It's going to be horrific. Let's talk about Carrie Patel. So she was the director of Avowed. We actually got to see her during an early kind of like showcase event, I believe, for the Game Awards. And, well, she has officially left Obsidian after 12 years. 12 years, that's crazy. She's also known for Outer Worlds and was also a writer for Pillars of Eternity 2. But now she works at Netflix, and she's actually a lead / director for Oxenfree in their game development department. This is technically at Night School Studios. And something, again, just kind of feels weird, because we don't see anything on LinkedIn. We don't see really anything on Twitter X. She actually hasn't posted anything on Twitter X since like 2023. She's just gone silent on that. Or maybe she has another account. I don't know. It is her, though. You can tell by her picture. And then on LinkedIn, nothing for her personally that I was able to find, and also nothing for Obsidian. So, like, again, there's just not a lot there. And yeah, there's no reason why for the company. Again, we don't really particularly know. There are a lot of puff pieces right now saying the same thing, basically that she did 12 years, she did a great job, wish her success. But most of it, too, is also owned by IGN now, so it's all coming basically from the same mouth, so that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, Carrie's own personal account is silent, and I kind of wonder too, did she know about the layoffs coming from Microsoft? Because again, Microsoft just had another big swath of layoffs earlier this year, and now that Avowed is officially over, there's not going to be any more content for it. Maybe she just doesn't want to be a part of another big project, and she really ate some crow too, which maybe she didn't have to, of course. But like, Avowed was such a busy and crazy project to a degree of just things not going right, some things being shifted around, having to have a delay. It was just kind of a mess. And then to some of the backlash with Avowed and the art director and stuff saying some things they shouldn't have. But yeah, maybe it's just such a big of enough headache, she just doesn't want to deal with it again, and she's just kind of ready for a smaller team. So yeah, wish her luck, just like anybody else. But yeah, having to change or trade places after 12 years, but that's got to be challenging. But yeah, hopefully she can do well over there. Let's talk about Team Kill Media. Now they're making Code Violet, which this is like the Dino Crisis-ish type of game, and they're already showing their hand a little bit. So they also made Quantum Error, which was their previous game, and it wasn't received well at all. Okay, it was buggy, it was done really poorly, did not receive good reviews at all. Some people just completely skipped it because, again, it wasn't worth their time. And then we take a look at Code Violet, and it really doesn't look great either. So it could be better than Quantum Error, but maybe just by a little bit, maybe not like a ton. So Team Till has actually gone a step further, though, against Dreamcast Guy and I guess some others asking for reviews of the game to actually be taken down. So this was actually reviewed, or there were some copies out there. I'm assuming last year, some people actually reviewed the game, and the game was then delayed, and now we're actually getting it released in I think it's July. Excuse the hiccups. But yeah, he's actually had his requested that his video be taken down because he doesn't really like it. Again, it's his opinion. He doesn't feel like it's done a very good job. Very much like what I did with the Star Wars Grandmaster Collection by Aspire, controlled by Embracer Group. It's just like it looks like trash. It doesn't just seem very good, and he's basically just doing the same thing. And so yeah, they're they're trying to get him to take his video down. And thankfully for now, YouTube is actually on Dreamcast's side because, yeah, regardless of how we think about different channels, I think we should have differences of opinion out there. We should have the ability to communicate and talk and have a discussion and get things out in the open and basically, try to either warn people or get the truth out there. That should be all of our focuses. But yes, this is just kind of unfortunate. So yeah, Code Violet is officially going to release in July 2025. And again, it's inspired by Dino Crisis. But again, it doesn't look great. Also, Team Kill has also stated that there won't be any release on PC because they don't want any, quote, vulgar mods to be applied to their game. They see their game as art. Also, there isn't going to be any Xbox version because they don't have, quote, the manpower or expertise to make it. So again, this is another studio that doesn't know how to make a version for Series S, just like Black Myth Wukong and a few others. And I feel like Xbox should do a better job at that. Like, send a team, send some folks over there to help them figure it out and get games onto your platform. That can only help your platform, right? Because every game you're sending over, every game that has a sale, you're getting like 30% of the sale. That's some kind of free money, and if you just got to send a couple of engineers to help them out, I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, that would make sense to me, but maybe it just doesn't make sense on paper. So, this is only going to be on PlayStation. Again, last game is really bad. They're wanting to protect their art while it looks awful, and then they're trying to take down criticism of their game that they allowed people to review. So, yeah, it's just kind of another like mind's eye kind of thing right now, where again, the CEO and co-CEO are criticizing people of actually like alpha viewing their game, giving some criticisms, and they're like, yeah, they're being paid. It's like, dude, you freaking let them see it in the first place? Are you serious? So yeah, this doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, we're going to wait for release, honestly, and I can't wait to watch this fire burn because I just don't think their head is in the right place to put gamers first. They're clearly putting themselves first, and not only are they threatening criticism, they have nothing to stand on due to reputation. Like, they're defending a bad game. Now, granted, yes, we should wait for final criticism for a game to actually come out, but I can't see anyone really giving a rip about this. And, honestly, that's kind of sad. Because it's like you could take the criticism and try to do better. Okay, like Lords of the Fallen, that was a great one. Helldivers was another one. Also, we had 3 years early access for Baldur's Gate 3, which turned out to be really, really good. And again, there's other groups out there that have taken criticism and ran with it and improved things and done things and trying to earn their consumer base back. No Man's Sky is probably the best one, and also Fallout 76. That would be another one. And again, this is years of earning that trust back. Cyberpunk 2077 is another. But then we also have, too, some studios and some leadership in other places that's like, nah, We don't want you to criticize our game. We're copy striking this stuff to death. We're, trying to sue you. We're trying to get you demonetized or to take the video down, whatever it might be. And again, that is just ridiculous. Like, we just need to have an open conversation because we shouldn't be protecting industries that do not have the consumers first. Period. Okay, we're not here to defend the company. We're not here to give charity because we aren't given our money through charity. We work hard for our money. And so we want to make sure that we're buying a satisfying product, not something that is crafted and shadowed in marketing speak and all of this other kind of stuff. Like, we actually want good products. So yeah, I'm going to be following Code Violet personally, and I'll bring it to you in the news in July when it releases. All right, let's talk about Hellblade 2. It's actually coming to PlayStation 5. It will also have Pro enhancements for the PlayStation 5 Pro. There will also be other enhancements for the base PS5 and also for the Xbox, but we aren't really sure what those are yet. Maybe we'll hear those in the showcase coming next week. I'm assuming on Xbox's side, but yeah, I got some questions there. Limited Run Games is also doing a physical release of the PlayStation 5 and also of Xbox. This is confirmed through the ESRB rating that they have for the Limited Runs version of the game. So I just want to be clear on that. PlayStation 5 release will also probably be late summer. Again, no official release date yet. We'll probably hear that during the Xbox showcase. And I'm sure a ton of people, too, will actually be watching that, myself included. I would try to stream it, but I don't have good enough internet to stream the actual showcase and to stream myself watching the showcase. Yeah, it's not good enough. It would look like crap. Maybe even crash, who knows. But anyway, I would if I could. We also found out, too, that Shinobi is also having a physical release of limited run games. And that's awesome, actually. There's going to be a Nintendo Switch 1 version, not a Switch 2, just Switch 1, PlayStation 5, and also Xbox. So yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. Limited run games is actually getting ahead of the curve on a few games. There's also Gex Trilogy is going to be another one. So yeah, you can check out limited run games. They do release some physical copies. It does look concerning, though, at least for Switch 2 physical releases of games, is that the Switch 2 cartridges are just, again, going to be like the CD key or the game key to just download the game from Nintendo servers, which, again, is kind of a physical copy, but, like, the game files aren't there on the cartridge. So, but I'll be sure to confirm that after the Switch 2 comes out and Limited Run actually starts making some. Let's talk about Battlefield 6. We have some leaks from the closed beta. There's been hundreds of thousands of people in the queue waiting to actually hop in there. And yeah, with NDAs, they've been messing up. They've been leaking it out there, whether intentionally or not. So I'm not going to go over everything, but just a few things here. We are going to have classes again, which sounds great. But anyone can use any weapon with any class. So your sniper rifle can be on someone else. And this kind of gets crazy. There are perks, though, for each class that is going to try to get you to use the appropriate type of weapon for your class. But again, you don't have to do it that way. So yeah, they've never done this before. But like an example is that a sniper can hold his breath longer, or maybe a support actually has more ammo, etc., that kind of thing. But instead, what we'll have is medical engineers with LMGs. Like, we'll literally have a hodgepodge of everything. And the thing that worries me about this is that people are then just going to play Rambo. They're not going to be team focused or oriented. It's just going to turn into more of a Call of Duty fest. And it's also going to have just less and less people actually want to talk to their squad to actually get things put together. And man, back before even Battlefield was on console, it was amazing to actually have squads and to work with your team, and everyone had certain jobs or roles, and you counted on each other. That was actually really cool. And again, it seems like Battlefield is actually robbing us of that opportunity. So yeah, this is kind of a bummer. Again, into something would maybe be extremely useful in the moment in your squad, but again, no one's going to have access to it because they're all trying to be the Swiss Army knife. No one's going to be good at any one particular job. And yeah, that's going to suck. We also have heard, too, that there's going to be a Battle Royale mode. Man, we have had enough. Please, no more. No more extraction shooters. No more battle royale modes. Please. Like, most of those have failed anyway. And I'm just ready to actually move on from this. Yeah, hopefully the gunplay and the servers and the maps are better. 2042 was a total mess. They took like 18, 24 months to fix that game. Their maps were just, what the frick? Horrible. And again, it's great if they can fix a game after 2 years, but it's like you missed your opportunity by then. Also, 2042 didn't have a campaign. We will be getting one. I've mentioned that on the channel before as well. But yeah, hopefully, and it looks like this is taking place in 2000s. So like Iraq, Afghan war. And that could be interesting. There's a lot of things we could actually dig up there and implement and take inspiration to make maps. And yeah, maybe that could actually be good. But yeah, hopefully everything actually runs good. And again, this is supposed to Battlefield 6 is supposed to release sometimes toward the end of the year. The idea too is that we're all supposed to get 60 frames per second in performance mode. There will be a quality mode as well. Aim assist will be weaker than what people are used to on Call of Duty and Apex, and I'm actually okay with that because I actually want people to be able to aim and shoot. And I like tactical shooters, which means you do it yourself. You're not relying on a machine to do it for you. Because, yeah, you guys aren't really that good. The program just makes you think you're good, that you're hot shit, and you're not. And then I got people even on COD last night or a couple nights ago that were like, dude, you cheater, blah, 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 whatever. And, yeah, just learn to shoot. That's it. Just learn to shoot. There's also no tactical sprint. So overall, the movement is going to be slower. So if you're hopping Holly out there, there's also going to be bullet drop. Don't forget. That better still be there. I swear, man. If they start making it more like COD, I'm going to freak. They need to make a real, like, Battlefield game. That would be great. Go back to Battlefield 1 mechanics. Make it modern for the setting, and just build that. That'd be wonderful. Let's talk about Splitgate. So they actually had an open beta. I didn't have time. But unfortunately, it basically crashed the servers after a few hours. A lot of people hopped on. The CEO apologized, said, quote, we're going to do right by you. But yeah, SteamDB actually shows up 56% for the open beta. Currently, the peak was Memorial Day, and also again after a few days. So hopefully they can actually get that worked out. But again, Splitgate is another. It looks like it's going to be another kind of like free-to-play Portals, Call of Duty first-person shooter kind of a thing. And it's just, again, we have so many of these games. It's like, come on, we are saturated by now. But again, these games take time to make. They take time to get the team together, find the studio, build the studio, get the funding, all of that stuff, and actually shove it out there. It takes a lot of time. But again, lately, even some of these games, they don't even make it a year, and they're shut down. Okay, like X Defiant. That was another one. There's even been some other ones like was Syndicate 1 or no, it was named something else. Anyway, there's been a few that have been shut down. They basically make it about a year, and that's kind of it. So, yeah, I don't know. Good luck to them. I don't wish them ill or anything, but we already have a ton of them that to actually play. So let's talk about the GSC. They're the creators of Stalker 2 and the Stalker series, and they have an enhanced version of the Stalker trilogy. So that's actually kind of cool. There's been improvements and enhancements in resolution and etc. One thing, though, that they did change was actually just about anything related to Russia. So like signage and certain things that are out there in the world that you can see. And they did this type of censorship because of the Ukraine-Russian war. And compared to the original trilogy. So the original trilogy, you can see this stuff, and with the update, the enhancements that they did, they basically scrubbed some stuff out of the game. And again, I don't feel like they should do this. So again, a lot of the signage was changed or removed related to anything with Russia or the Soviet Union or anything like that. But again, it's like, okay, this is where this actually takes place. Like, those places actually exist in the world. You can go and see those. And so I understand, they have a war going on, and yes, that is personal. They've also had people die from their studio making Stalker 2 that didn't make it back. So yeah, it is very personal with them, and I agree with that. And I understand that, but I don't agree with the censorship that they're doing. And yeah, while the war is horrible, they shouldn't bring their personal burdens into their game. That's just my 2 cents. Okay? Any personal stuff I'm dealing with, I leave it at home. I really try hard not to bring it to the channel at all. And again, that is just, you're not here to learn about my personal life or the burdens that I have. You're here for the news. You're here for the playthroughs, the initial looks and reviews. That's what you're here for. And that's what I make the channel for. So again, they should be doing the same thing. Everyone should. I also found out too that the GSC also didn't sell Stalker 2 in Russia on purpose due to the war. And this wasn't necessarily because of sanctions. This was them purposefully choosing not to sell it over there, from what I gathered. And again, they're placing a personal burden on their potential customers, where their customers have nothing to do with it. They're just watching the show, being a victim like everybody else. I mean, let's not forget the millions of men in Russia that fled in 48 hours before they closed all the borders to Norway and Finland. And I mean, what a mess. I mean, they closed the borders off because there were so many men coming over. Again, it was millions that actually left. And a lot of them still haven't gone back. They probably won't until there's a change in presidency, till Putin's out of there. So yeah, there's Russians that are victims of this too. And they're fighting a war they don't want to fight. But again, this should not be a personal thing. So yeah, we just shouldn't forget that. There was actually enough backlash though to the GSC that of their censorship. So they took time to undo everything. So they re-updated the game. They undid all of the censorship as far as I know. And things are back to normal in the game. But again, we all have painful burdens. Yeah, let's not make it personal to others that aren't involved. I just feel like we shouldn't do that. Also, too, same with DEI in games, where stories and characters aren't just represented, but seem to be telling personal stories, like Veilguard and Dustborn. Like, those games, man, I tell you. And the devs and directors, they're placing personal burdens in the games, and the customers don't want it, so they're not buying. At least some of them, anyway. And then, too, so much is focused on some aspects of the game that other aspects seem left out. And it's like, really? We just got done complaining about Suicide Squad popping purple pimples, and now we're in Veilguard popping red ones? Are you serious? So yeah, companies are also having layoffs and ending DEI programs because, again, the backlash has been big enough against some of this stuff. And so, yeah, again, we should not be making things personal, okay? Video games, along with any other industry, it's a business, and we should remember that. And whatever business you're in, whatever you're going through, leave the shit at home. Seriously, don't bring it, okay? You don't need to burden someone else. You have close friends for that. You have some family members for that, okay? There's some people that have let you know that you can share the load, okay? So do that with them. But don't be bringing your self-righteousness into your stuff. Just leave it out of there. It's better for everybody. All right, let's talk about the unboxing of the Switch 2 already. So we're like a couple weeks ahead here, and A2 Dubai actually got one and took time to unbox it. The most interesting thing, though, is that nothing works. It actually needs a day one patch on release. And I'm serious, you can't even play Switch 1 games that are single player. They don't work. The system literally tells you, quote, please connect to the internet, which is insane. So the console literally needs an update to run. And I really hope they don't mess up that update or any other update. So every console out there is already bricked, and they're not letting anyone be able to use them. So now, while there is necessarily nothing new with companies wanting to restrict access or control their product, okay, of course every company does, but there's also a point where it's like we don't even have ownership of our electronics anymore. Our physical hardware, like we can't even use it. Like that's crazy. That's like an Apple thing. That's nuts. Like, restrictions so much to the point where it's like you can't even use your product until they say you can. Good gall, man. And this is probably why we don't have any really review copies of the Switch 2. Again, they need an update. They know that. They're not telling anyone else that, but hey, someone got it early and they're like, hey, this is what's up. So yeah, I hope that update isn't a mess. But two, this is just sad how controlled our electronics are. Again, the products that we buy, the services that we pay for, and really, I kind of feel like we're just getting sloshed. We're just getting raked for everything that we can give in the name of security or whatever BS they want to throw. And it's like you don't even own stuff anymore. Like they even have subscription services for your car, for like your heated seats and some other stuff and whatever, or some patch for your sound system so it sounds better. Like unlocking your stereo. Like, come on. Like this is getting ridiculous. So yeah, on that thing alone, like when companies really start doing that, ultimately when I don't have a choice, whatever, I'll just buy, what I want to buy. But for right now, we still have the ability to say no to these type of products. And personally, I think people should. Again, it's your money. Do what you want with it. No worries, no beef from me. But personally, I just don't think we should be accepting continued increased levels of control for stuff that we actually buy. And this is something too with like Destiny 2, for example, started removing content that people purchased. And I was like, no. Like I paid for that. Okay. I want to have access to it whenever I want. Okay. You're just choosing to remove content whenever you feel like it because it's more convenient or whatever. But it's like, I paid for that. How can that not be fraud? Like that's crazy. And again, I hope with the Switch 2, that patch isn't a mess. I hope it works great because then everyone can just use their console, when they get it on June 5th. But yeah, this is just kind of nuts. And even with performance, we're getting to an up where like there's AI upscalers that have updates, okay, and there's more focuses on upscalers than actual hardware to run their performance, which I just think is backwards. And so yeah, we have the PS5 Pro, the Switch 2, and the 50 series are all good examples of this. Like our performance is artificial. So again, it's like, does it even really matter to buy the box anymore? And like with Xbox, for quite a few choices now, you can just stream your game straight on the TV. They can run it to you and send you the stream. And then you can play. And the input lag is actually pretty low so far with a few games that I've tested. But it is, yeah, I mean, we're getting to a point where it's just more digitized. We don't actually own much. And we're still paying an arm and a leg anyway. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem to be going in a good direction. Something else I wanted to mention was that the packaging that was shown also seems really, really basic with the Switch 2. Now, I want to see an official, like, hey, I got the box, let's open it, kind of unboxing. But yeah, the packaging was pretty basic. Basically, the box has kind of just got a big divider in the middle. And one side has the Joy-Cons, one side has the Switch 2. They're all wrapped in like a cellophane plastic. But the Switch 2s, they're just kind of free floating in there from what I saw, which I really hope that's not the case because, again, you don't want the cellophane to break or tear away in any way and then have some configuration where the Joy-Cons are laying that are adjusting or tweaking the joystick. Because, yeah, you'll get stick drift day one. And, like, you don't want a $95 controller to have stick drift. That's pretty expensive. Yeah, and I suggest people to just go out and buy a secondary pair of Joy-Cons. Because, yeah, stick drift's going to happen regardless. So, might as well just have another pair sitting there waiting. And just buy it so you can actually have one so you can play your stuff. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, though, with the Switch 2. It's like you can't even turn it on. Gow. Well, maybe you can turn it on to a point, but again, nothing works. Nothing's working, operating. Yeah, there's literally nothing, which is just wild. So, yeah, just another level of control. I think it's disgusting. All right, let's talk about PlayStation again. They're actually having a 2-week sale. And got to give them props for this. They're actually giving a sale, too, to some of their consoles, though some of this stuff is also region specific, so let's actually get into it. So the games, there's actually a lot of first party there, and there's also a lot of collections. So again, go ahead and check it out. Even Astrobot was on sale. Instead of $60, it's $50. And don't forget that actually DLC for the game is all free, all 4 or 5 DLC packs. Consoles themselves, again, these are region specific. So in the US, Black Ops 6 bundles with a PlayStation 5 disc drive is $450, and digital. Actually, I think the Black Ops 6 bundle was $400, not $450. And then the digital version is actually $400. Well, yeah, maybe the disc drive was $450 and digital was $400. So, but yeah, it's nice to see digital is actually back at its normal launch price. Isn't that nice? I think that's nice. Controllers, VR, and earbuds are also on sale. PlayStation Plus 2 also is on sale. So if you wanted to buy some PlayStation Plus in some form or another, go ahead and I couldn't see the actual prices. Again, I think they're region specific. So go ahead and log in, check out their website, and yeah, check out those discounts. But yeah, you can stack up PlayStation Plus right now, which honestly I would. With how things are going, prices are just going up. Also, with PlayStation's earnings call, I actually thought this was pretty interesting. They shared that the console sales are dropping off, and it's not just drop off, it's dropping off actually pretty hard. I actually got to see that with VG charts. I checked it myself, and yeah, they are dropping off actually pretty hard. And so now instead of console sales, since that's not working for them anymore, they're going with monthly active users to actually gauge success. And Xbox has already done this, again, because they can't sell their consoles. So, hey, they're going with monthly active users, right? And I think eventually Nintendo is probably going to do that too. Just like Steam does. Eventually, everyone is going to go with this level of engagement because I think the reality of these exclusive walled gardens, I don't think they can stay up forever. Even Apple's walled garden is disappearing literally before their eyes last month. And yeah, that will just continue to get worse. So yeah, I think whether it's antitrust lawsuits, creating monopolies, or just needing to find more revenue streams somewhere, I think ultimately exclusivity is kind of a done deal. And eventually, including Nintendo, there's going to be this mix and match mesh of gaming, just in our context of being able to play, generally speaking, on whatever you want, wherever you want. And Xbox has really kicked that off for the consoles, but again, that's already been a thing on PC for decades at this point. So yeah, consoles are just catching up. Also, taking a look at Sony's revenue projections, it's also going down every single year through 28. So 25 is down, 26 is lower than that, 27 is lower than 26, and 28 is lower than 27. Now, we don't get to see 2029 because they don't have that projection yet. Probably will at the beginning of next year in 26. But yeah, I hope at some point, even with the PlayStation 6 supposedly releasing in 27, 28, you'd think the projections of revenue would actually go up. But they're not. So maybe they're not releasing the next gen console when we think they are. Maybe it's 29, given this kind of 10-year gap for their console generation, which means we're basically halfway through at this point, which is crazy. Again, for some of us, myself included, it doesn't really feel like it started. I feel like we're just starting to catch our stride in a way, at least for some consoles. But yeah, what is going on with their revenue there? You'd think the revenue would spike at some point, but it's not. It's just, and it's not like it's a lot, but it is just slowly kind of dribbling down year after year after year. So that's kind of concerning. Not sure what's going on there, but I'll keep my ear to the grindstone for you folks. Let's talk about EA. They're closing Cliffhanger Games. They are working. They were working on a Black Panther game. This was like an open world kind of action style environment. And EA is currently promising to find positions within other studios for employees. This was according to an email that IGN got from EA. And we're roughly looking at about 100 employees, 75, 100 employees. And yeah, the devs were also former Monolith, which Warner Brothers shut down. And, this just sucks. Like, they just can't catch a break. I mean, they jumped ship from Monolith, heard Monolith got closed down, but they're like, hey, we work under a different publisher now, EA, and now EA is shutting down Cliffhanger, and all of those people basically have to find a job. EA did say that they're still focusing on these IPs: Battlefield, Apex, their Iron Man game by Motive, the next Jedi game, and Mass Effect 5. And EA Entertainment is technically different and separate from EA Sports. So there's two different divisions there. Just want to clarify that. Though something interesting, a post from Sam Bradley on LinkedIn shared that the studios and posted for studios and recruiters that they should look at the people that are being laid off. So it's like, do the people at Cliffhanger know that EA is trying to find positions for them? Did they tell them that? Is EA just saying, yeah, we're just trying to find positions in that email to IGN? So what's really going on here? Because it's like, you'd think the employees would wait to see if they could actually get a position, because that would be an easy enough transition, right? Instead of actually having to just, tick up your resume and start putting it out everywhere to try to find a job, which it's already been difficult for devs already. I wouldn't want to try to find a job right now in any industry, really. It's getting horrible for a lot of people. And a lot of industries are struggling. So yeah, that just doesn't exactly marry up like it should. It's like, okay, yeah, do the employees at Cliffhanger, used to be Cliffhanger, know that EA is trying to help them find positions, or is it just a select few, kind of like I expect? Which sucks. I mean, either way, it sucks losing your job. I mean, that money's got to come in every month from somewhere, and it's brutal when you don't have it. Let's talk about tariffs. They are officially over, only for a couple of days, and now the appeals court has temporarily allowed them to actually be instigated again. So again, this is just a back and forth motion, a mess, riling the stock markets and supply trends and stuff. My company actually just started taking orders again from China. So we must have worked out something, I guess. But yeah, we literally had, just a side note for y'all, we actually had all of our Chinese buyers of our product cancel everything within 48 hours. Like, we literally had millions of dollars of product sitting on the floor in our warehouse, and we had to find other buyers for it. And so we're taking orders from them again, and we're actually taking more volume this time than we did before, like an extra 33%. So I don't know. There must be something going on there, or we must be getting a really good price per unit. Something, because my company wasn't sure that they were going to be selling to China again. Maybe they were just waiting to hear from the companies over there. I don't know. But yeah, the tariffs are still a mess. It's all up in the air still. Don't worry about it. It's, life moves on regardless. But yeah, the federal court ended the tariffs, technically saying that unilateral control on tariffs is not given to the president outside of a state of emergency. So yeah, Trump is doing something illegal here outside of the Constitution. Shame, shame. Shouldn't be doing that. And it actually has to be voted on by Congress. Now we have an appeals court, reinstating some of this. So yeah, this is going to go on probably for a few more months, maybe even through the rest of the year, until this is actually all settled out. But a lot of companies, they're making adjustments. They're transitioning and shifting plans around to actually start manufacturing in the United States, just so they can avoid this completely. And there's also trade deals continuing to be done and worked out. And we're hearing news on that basically every other day with some of these trade deals. But honestly, at least on the gaming side, will companies actually reverse prices like Nintendo and Xbox for $80 games? No, I highly doubt it. Or PlayStation, like, again, raising their console prices in most places of the world? Probably not. We are stuck with $80 games, $90 for physical, and basically $600 consoles. Puke. That is just disgusting. And I can't believe after 6 years almost we have a $100 increase to our consoles. Now, PlayStation hasn't risen the price yet, which hopefully it stays that way. That would be really nice. But again, PlayStation is not unaffected by tariffs either. There's actually thinking about right now finding manufacturing in the United States. and shifting over there to make units in the States so they can just avoid the tariff completely. Because even at 30% out of China, that's still expensive. So instead of $100, it's $130 now that they got to pay. And then they got to raise the price above that so that they can actually sell it for a profit. Excuse me. So yeah, that gets expensive. It definitely gets expensive. And yeah, what's next gen going to be? Man, PC is going to be the best place after a while. I mean, we're paying for multiplayer, we're paying for $80 games, we're paying for 90 physical, we got $600 consoles. Next gen is probably going to be like $700, for a console if they're 6 now. Um, it's not good. It's not good, man. It's expensive. And like the premium side of consoles, the PlayStation 5 Pro, for example, if that's $700, is it going to be $900 or $1,000 for PlayStation 6? I don't know. I mean, it's not looking great. I mean, if you got to spend $1,000 already, God, it better do natively 4K at 60 frames without any help. That would be nice. I mean, at least to get to that point, got to give us something. Can't just keep making us pay more money for the same thing. Business doesn't work that way. Eventually, people push back, and I hope enough people are. All right, let's talk about Kingmakers. We finally have a release date. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, Kingmakers is only on PC. No idea for console. Doesn't look like it, but it is coming out for PC later this year, October. Long time to wait still, but it at least is coming. But yeah, Kingmakers is where basically you're a modern day soldier mercenary in medieval times, and we're talking like large battle medieval times, sieges and massive groups attacking each other on the field and stuff, and you have access to modern day weapons and modern day vehicles to some degree. Modern day airstrikes maybe, or mortar attacks and whatever, and you just get to just go ham on just tons of medieval NPCs. It actually looks incredibly fun. I really want to buy it and play it for you folks just to see what it is. We did also hear though that they're also getting a movie actually made off of the video game. The movie is going to be done by Story Kitchen, which is only about 10 employees, very small media studio out of Los Angeles, California. And they're also working, Story Kitchen is also working on a Just Cause movie. So, yeah, we'll see what the quality is. But I'm actually curious to actually see these. I liked the Just Cause movie, and then I like the idea of Kingmakers. So, when we actually get release dates for these, I'll see if I can watch these. Story Kitchen was founded in 2022, and yeah, they're probably working on really small budgets. And so that's attractive, and, it also lowers the expectations for the viewers. And yeah, people might actually want to just go see a kind of casual, lower budget film and have a good time. I think that's great. Not trying to go crazy over the top. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see those movies when they come out. I'll let you guys know. Let's talk about Legendary Pictures. Well, they currently purchased the rights for Street Fighter, and they're casting for it right now. Looks like Jason Momoa will actually be one of the main characters. I hope it's a serious movie, please. I hope it's a serious movie. But yeah, we'll actually see. We don't have any release date yet. We don't even have a year, I don't think. So yeah, we got some time. We got some years until it actually comes out. But again, later in I'll see if I can actually see it. Because we do TV adaptions here as well. We review these. Also, let's talk about the Last of Us TV show. Season 2, well, they've basically lost 50% of their audience when they killed Joel. A lot of people got pissed. And the movie the show can't basically be carried by the rest of the cast anymore, and people have just given up and quit. And the thing that's crazy is the Last of Us TV show is expected to have 4 seasons to actually wrap up the story. It's like, man, I don't even think you're going to make it through 3 seasons. If half of your audience is already gone, well, yeah. You're not going to be making season 4. There's no way you're going to get there. It's not going to be feasible. Yeah. What are they going to do? It's like, yeah, and hear people, complaining, blaming gamers, I guess. for ruining The Last of Us. It's like, that was actually how it was in the video game. Okay, apparently you guys never played it. Um, but anyway, yeah. So The Last of Us TV show is basically done with, and the reviews that I am seeing from the Angry Joe show, yeah, they're not very good. They're pretty horrendous. Let's talk about Helldivers 2 and Star Wars Battlefront 2, though. They're actually popping off. Helldivers 2 again had a massive push. Earth was actually being invaded, and they saw some actual pretty big counts. And then same with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Again, we're kind of getting excited about Battlefield. It was made by DICE, same original folks that made some of the other Battlefield games, and it is a fun experience. And it's great too because Star Wars Battlefront doesn't have any of the crazy monetization now like it did, or RNG garbage, and it's just a fun game. And again, this just shows of why I hate live service, because the companies focus the game and the mechanics and everything else around the live service model instead of actually making the best game that they can for the funnest experience for players, which if it's fun, you'll continue to play. You will continue to buy, right? They don't seem to understand that. Instead, they monetize it to death. They break things down. They paywall stuff. They make the grinds insane. And then they say, look, go play our game, have fun, spend more money. And it destroys games like Star Wars Battlefront 2. I mean, this even got in the hot seat with some countries of looking at loot boxes as gambling. And this is basically what destroyed Star Wars Battlefront 2. And after I saw that, I was like, nah, I'll just go back to the originals, man. I'm excited for that. I'll play that. I'd rather play that to begin with. But yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've even been seeing some of my friends on my friends list on Xbox playing Star Wars Battlefront. So yeah, it is kicking back up. And the thing that's crazy with Star Wars Battlefront is they have now reached a peak concurrent player count of 300,000 players across all platforms. That's according to EA. And I think on Steam, I can't remember exactly what the count was, but it was like all-time high for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Like this month. It's like, are you serious? Like, that's crazy. So yeah, it just shows that if you do it well, the people will play, the people will buy, they'll have a fun time, and they will continue to enjoy it. But it shows too that people are ready for those type of experiences. And if the Force Studios working on Battlefield 6 can nail it, they will make a ton of money off of Battlefield 6. They'll get mine too. I love the tactical, large-scale battles. I think it's fun. I think it's an absolute blast because I know when I get a kill, I earned it, right? It's not just the aim assist on COD or something. And I feel good about actually learning the game, getting the skill, learning the maps, working with my team. And hey, if Battlefield 6 pops off, let's play. If it's cross-platform, let's get our IDs and let's play together on a server. Or if you're on Xbox, let's hook up and let's play sometime later this year or next year. I've even thought of just, starting a gaming garbage server. But it'd take a little bit of money, which I don't have a ton of right now. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? If you're still listening, let me know down below. Because, yeah, I really love Battlefield. It's so fun, especially with other people. That's a blast. All right, let's talk about Xbox. Looks like they've actually put their handheld on hold. Now, this handheld is the one that actually Xbox is designing. It's different from the ROG Ally that we saw in the leaks called Kennen. Okay, that's a partnership with ROG Ally, but Xbox is actually making a different one from the ground up. And yeah, they announced before. Well, they announced that they're delaying it before they announced that it was real. So that's reason enough to know that it's real if they're actually delaying this. But again, we didn't even have a release date or like a release year. It's just a bunch of channels talking about this on the interwebs and tubes. And yeah, it's just kind of funny that they're doing it this way because they're basically confirming that there is a handheld, that this is a pause. Okay, this isn't not like ending development or scrapping the project or whatever. We also got to hear from Phil Spencer himself that the handheld project is actually greenlit by Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. He is the top dog. So we know it's real. We know that it's coming. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that they're communicating about this. Otherwise, people would continue to just talk about it, and then there would be disappointment for the Xbox showcase. And now they're getting this out of the way so that people can focus on something else during the showcase and not get hung up on the handheld. So that's probably a good idea. But yeah, something that's interesting too is that this announcement actually came after game performance tests between the Steam OS and also Windows. We did talk about Steam OS actually basically becoming available to download on any AMD device with Steam OS 3.7, and I'm sure that will continue with 3.8 and so on. And again, Valve is doing the same thing as Xbox is, hey, let's just get it everywhere. Let's just infect everything. And I think Xbox is feeling the heat a little bit. So they understand that they need to get the handheld right. And they did announce that the reason why they're wanting to do this is they're wanting to make sure that they actually just hone in on the operating system, the gaming experience, fixing some bugs, improving it, um, and the performance was better on the Steam OS using the same handheld um, than Windows. So that didn't make it look very good. Okay, there were better frame rates by a little bit, 5 to 10 extra frames on the Steam OS version for quite a few games. And there is a list out there if you're interested. But yeah, I just think Xbox understands that they have some competition now. And I like competition because it means that we win, usually at cheaper prices, at better quality. And we always want that. So yeah, it's very interesting what's happening. But yeah, I think Valve understands they have some competition from Xbox. And then I think Xbox understands that they also have some competition from Valve. And so that's why we're seeing Steam OS go everywhere. That's why the handheld on Xbox side is being delayed, and why Xbox is wanting to focus on Windows improvements for the gaming experience. Because, yeah, that's probably what the handheld is coming with. Maybe even the console, too. Again, we don't know. But yeah, I think the end of this decade is going to be pretty interesting for gaming. I think when we look back at the launch of this generation in 2019 to the launch of next gen, I think gaming is going to be pretty different. And maybe even in some aspects, it'll be hard to recognize. Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. Last thing I wanted to talk about was actually Elden Ring NightReign. So this is a game I've done an initial look on. Link it below if you're interested in the description. It's not overly long. It's like 17 minutes. But just a quick gist of it is that I'm giving it... The more I play, the score is going up slightly. So like it's kind of around a 6.5 or like 7 out of 10. And performance wise, it's not perfect, right? But they'll work on fixing some bugs, they'll improve some things. But it's just the gameplay loop itself. I'm not sure if it's super long, because if you're really good at the game or you have some teams that you can work through all of the bosses actually fairly quickly. We do know there's some DLC to add some more bosses, hopefully at least 3. And maybe some more maps and stuff too. But yeah, it is going to be interesting. It is an interesting game. But ultimately, it just doesn't feel like a From Software game. And I've been playing them since like 98 with Project Phantasma, with Armored Core. And I've played all of the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring. And yeah, it's just not the type of style I'm looking for with From Software. The whole reason I fell in love with From Software, it's not in NightReign. So that's kind of disappointing for me. It still does the job it's set out to do. It's still designed the way it is, and I think it does it fairly well. But again, we kind of have this saturation of like teams of 3 rushing in, fighting stuff, and having a game session with kind of like winner take all, pass fail kind of a deal. And not everyone's into that. So yeah, I still think it will sell some copies. I don't think it'll sell more than 5 million. I could be wrong. Right now, it's sold 2 million basically on launch. So congratulations for them. But I think too we need to understand that Miyazaki also is not going to be at From Software forever. He probably has 1 or 2 more projects, and that's going to be it. And new leadership is going to come in and control what From Software puts out. And I think we're seeing some of that. We also have Duskbloods coming next year for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is an exclusive for them, probably permanently. And I'm not interested in Dusk Bloods actually whatsoever. Found out that it's a PvPvE type of game where you have teams moving into a map or moving into an area, and they can either fight it out and take each other down, or partway through the session, a big NPC comes in, or a wave of NPCs, and they can either work on taking down the NPC together as a team, or they can backstab each other, and eventually the session's over after a while, right? But again, that's not the type of style or game that I'm looking for with From Software. So yeah, and 2 games in a row that are multiplayer games, even if they are $40, I don't know. I feel like Dust Bloods is probably going to be 60. Um, and even with NightReign being $40, I think it's a little expensive. I think it should be more like 30 or 35. I think 40 is pushing it because there's so many assets that are repeated. There are even the map design, and there's not a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot of work was actually done there. There's still some cool things in the game. There's some secrets in the game too. And there's also ways to unlock other characters that you can play or other classes you can play in the game. So there is some work done there, but again, on the scale of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, it is just not there. And for $40, it just seems a little expensive. Personally, I think NightReign should have been a DLC component for Elden Ring as a mode. I think it would have made a lot more sense that way. And instead of doing it the way that they did, I feel like they should make it like the Dungeon Chalice in Bloodborne, where again they can be randomized, they can shift and change, there can be different bosses, different enemies, and you can go in by yourself or bring in 2 or 1 or 2 other people. And that's a complaint too with NightReign at this point, is that you can either do solo or trios. There is no duos for the game. And randoms do affect your gaming experience for sure. And that's probably so far the biggest complaint. So right now it's sitting on Steam and on the Xbox Store roughly at a 65%. And the scores have generally slowly been going down as more reviews come in, but it's still staying around the mid 60s. So anyway, last thing I got for y'all is, they'll let me do it here. Let's go over, there were way too many, of course, but yeah, let's go over games that we can expect in June. Dune Awakening is probably another one at this point. They're heavily advertising stuff right now, but as you can see, a lot of stuff is for the Switch 2. A lot of stuff. I counted. There's actually like 25 third-party titles that are coming at launch, and there's basically 3 or 4 games for the Nintendo Switch 2 that are first party, which again is just kind of surprising. Yeah, the third party lineup is insane, and without the upscaler, I don't think there's any way Nintendo Switch 2 could actually run those games at a good enough frame rate for people to buy. But still, like, most of these games are going to be best played somewhere else. Okay, this will still be, in my opinion, one of the more worst experiences to play most of the games. I'm sure it'll run pretty good, but we're comparing PlayStation 4, we're comparing the Series S. It's like, yeah, those are budget systems, okay, at this point. It's kind of insane, I think, to be comparing a next gen to 2 gens, to like effectively 2 gens ago. That's not any gold star we should be giving Nintendo, right? But the fact that they can play Elden Ring, that Split Fiction is here, Street Fighter, Sonic X Zero Generations, there's a lot of stuff. Yakuza 0 is another one. And these are somewhat demanding games to a degree, so, but yeah, as you can see, there's a ton. Also, too, there's Zenless Zero Zone that's coming. There's also, yeah, Dune Awakening right there is on the 10th. There's Mind's Eye on the 10th. Yeah, that's... I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one as well. There's also Warhammer 40 Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition. Now, I did play the original, so I do want to play the Mastercrafted Edition, the remastered version, basically. And we're getting it also day one on Game Pass, so yeah, I'm going to be streaming it for you folks. We're also getting Stellar Blade on Windows. We're We're also getting The Altars. That's also coming to Game Pass as well. That's on the 13th. And also Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. There's also the Gex trilogy that I talked about. That's on the 16th. Firebreak. That's also going to be on Game Pass. Lost in Random 2, The Eternal Die. That's also going to be on Game Pass, which is crazy. And yeah, there's going to be a few others. Rematch, I actually kind of want to try that one. It's like a American soccer game or like football for the rest of the world. So, and then yeah, there's also Splintered Fate coming on the 24th, and then there's also Death Stranding 2 on the beach on the 26th. And then I'm assuming next year we'll actually get Death Stranding 2 on Xbox. And the reason I say that is because we already have Death Stranding 1 on the Xbox. So Kojima Productions bought the publishing rights to Death Stranding. Sony sold them, and Sony doesn't control where the game goes anymore. Now there's still an exclusivity deal that they agreed to before the selling, so Kojima Productions still has to agree to that. But yeah, we're probably getting Death Stranding 2 at some point. Yeah, I'll probably pick that up for a sale. There's also Persona 5, Phantom X if you're interested, and also the System Shock 2 25th anniversary. It's amazing how old these games are. And again, it's done by Night Dive Studios. They did a wonderful job with the first one. So that's basically what we got. Thanks for tuning in for the channel. You can always follow me at GamingGarbage22 over at YouTube. Also, don't forget our playlists. There's a lot more than we do than just gaming news for the channel. Then also you can follow me over at Twitch at Don't Tread on the if you'd like. And you can either watch stuff there or also engage with the chat when I'm not doing news or a deep dive. But when I'm actually playing gameplay, I periodically take a look. But yeah, just be patient with me. I'm older, you know. I don't have the attention of a goldfish. And if there's stuff happening on the screen, of course, I'm going to want to play as best as I can. But yeah, I will periodically look at the chat, and I'll engage with you folks. And so with that, folks, hopefully you guys are doing well. I'll see you guys on the next one.